What's up, everybody? It's Hard Deconstruction. Find us at harddeconstruction.tumblr.com, youtube.com/harddeconstruction, facebook.com/the Hard Deconstruction with your host, Alex.
Dolphin!
Today's film is
HAUSU!
HAUSU is from 1977. It's directed by Nobuhiko Obayashi. It's about a Oshari, who is named Gorgeous, is excited about spending summer vacation with her father until she finds out that his beautiful, freakishly serene girlfriend Ryuko will be going as well. So she decides to go with her friends to visit her aunt.
Did it say that?
You know what? The first half it did, and then I was like, fuck reading this IMDb part because this is ridiculous. This guy wrote a goddamn novel. So I just said the second part where she goes to her aunt's house, who is a mildly old spinster. Did I say mildly? I meant something kind of spinster. Whatever. So HAUSU is from 1977. It's it's incomprehensible.
Yeah. So I'm reading the thing here on the Wikipedia. I don't know how true it is, but it's saying that Obayashi specifically made the film to be incomprehensible because the film company that funded it was tired of losing money on comprehensible films, and that he thought the actors sucked, and that he would skip around and sing and play quiz games with the youngest actresses.
Oh boy. What's funny is that the origin of this film is that they greenlit it because they wanted a movie on the caliber of Jaws.
Oh, wow.
Because they wanted to hit like how Jaws had just recently come out. And did this come out before Star Wars or after? Because I think they kind of share a lot of plot.
I think it came out 1 year before Star Wars?
No, Star Wars came out in 1977.
What kind of fan am I?
Star Wars probably came out in the summer of 77. I think that was the big thing about it. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right.
This film, how would you
how would I explain
not
it?
explain
I don't know.
What if you were to give this movie not a tagline, but if you had that one kind of phrase or a sentence to explain this film
I would
to
say
somebody who never saw it?
A bunch of weird shit happens in a house.
It's a film with a linear plot that's incomprehensible. That's how I would say what it is.
Basically, it's like these 7 girls, and this is weird right off the bat, because, you know, the girl doesn't want to go with her dad and her new mom or whatever, so she's going to write her aunt and invite herself and 7 people over to her aunt's house that she's only met one single time in her life. That's,
right.
like, rude.
It's a weird movie because...
No wonder the aunt wanted to eat them.
So, the way the story goes is that this girl who's named Gorgeous, there are 7 archetypes in this film, these girls. There's Gorgeous, Sweet, Mac,
Melody,
Kung Fu, Prof, and...
Fantasy.
Fantasy. So, Fantasy and Gorgeous, I think, are like 2 best friends in the beginning of the film. And they kind of all lean towards their name. Mac, as I assume, because she's overweight, like McDonald's.
But you know what? She wasn't really overweight.
No, she wasn't. She just had a chubby face. That's all. Not even bad.
She's hot.
Right. Prof is the glasses-wearing kind of smart girl. Kung Fu, my favorite character, is the cutest one, and she has a nice butt.
She does.
Sweet, I guess, is the sweet girl of the group.
Right.
Fantasy kind of isn't. She's not really fantastical, I guess, but
maybe she's like schizophrenic and she can't tell the difference between fantasy.
Basically, every girl has these kind of over-the-top names, and so we're following Gorgeous, who's the main character, and she is gonna spend the summer with her father, I guess, at this whatever mountainside, wherever. Her father's like this musician. He scores films, and he was doing a song for Sergio Leone, so that was pretty funny. And he comes down with this majestical creature of a woman who has a Japanese name but looks very European. And I guess he got into a heavy relationship with this woman on set while trying to score this film in Italy. And he decides,
how long was the film, though? I mean, that's a pretty big jump to meet someone for like 2 months and then you're gonna marry them.
I don't know, because she was in a I guess a normal Japanese high school. It didn't seem like she was in a boarding school, right? I don't know. I couldn't tell. Although it seemed like there were only girls in that school, so maybe it was a boarding school. I don't know. But the father, kind of just came out as this brash guy with his cigarette and his new woman. How would you explain the new mother-in-law?
I guess they were trying to make her like an angel or something.
She's walking with a constant fan on, like behind her somewhere, like blowing.
It reminded me of
the
scene with the mom in The Gate.
Yeah, the nightmare sequence.
Yeah, where
everything's
it's the
slow
dog.
motion. Everything it's like she's walking through water or something. Very like high fashion kind of.
The whole movie is so strange. The cuts in this movie, the editing, like everything is really weird.
That's like even if you don't really like this film, you can admire for the weirdness that it has. Because apparently the director was like, "Well, how can I make a film that He was saying this in the IMDb, not the IMDb, I think the Wikipedia. Apparently, what they said is that he went to his kid for ideas for the film, because he says that kids have a different sort of mentality with storytelling than adults do, and he says, I don't want to do something that adults would see this and feel nothing for it, so I'm gonna go to this kid for some ideas. So apparently he went to his kid and she came up with, getting eaten by a piano or the watermelon looking like a person's head, weird shit like that in the movie. And it's funny because when the daughter, Gorgeous, decides to run off with her friends, like the father didn't say anything. He was like, okay, whatever, he'll just go on the vacation with his new wife. And the new wife was like, okay, I'll visit her at the aunt's house, and that plays later on into the film. So as soon as we get into the movie, it's a very slow moving film, and there were times when I was watching it today where I kind of turned away from it and paused it and stuff like that, because it's kind of a hard film to follow, even though it's like a linear plot. It really is like a batshit crazy.
It's
film.
like a cartoon, basically.
Yeah, like the most nonsensical cartoon you can believe. It's almost like what was that blue bird from like Tiny Toon Adventures? That weird bird with the fucking umbrella on his head. I don't know what.
Oh God.
He was a weird character.
One.
Huh?
The one that's extinct. That in the original Elmer was hunting him or whatever.
Right, and let me look that up. But it's very much like. It almost looks like it almost feels like a Nemo. Little Nemo in Adventures in Dreamland kind of character. It's very weird. Fuck Go-Go Dodo. That's what I'm thinking about. Go-Go Dodo is like, if you look Go-Go Dodo and that stuff.
Yeah.
It's a very surreal film that they take surreal stuff on even the most mundane things. Like when the girl is mad at the news.
How did the girl know that the cat's name was Blanche?
I don't know, because the cat. Apparently, what the thing that links these two people at her aunt's house is that there's a white fluffy cat that just shows up at her house. And who was the baby? What was that crying baby that had to do with, who was taking care of that crying baby?
I don't know.
Because she walks down from her apartment and there seemed to be some crying baby out in the middle of the fucking... It's a weird movie, man. Because she finds this cat. I don't even know, like she's in the train ride home. It's very almost like watching a stage play, right?
Yeah,
because
I don't know how to describe it, because there's a lot of stuff in here that like actually makes no sense, and it's not meant to make sense, like, and it's not even like necessarily good or bad. It's just weird.
But the story makes sense. I mean, it's not that deep of a storyline.
Well, the story is we're gonna go to our aunt's house and then
we get attacked by monsters. That's what it is. So I mean, the point where they're on the train and they're on the train, and then she's explaining how her aunt got to live by herself because her fiance died in World War II. He died very weakly too. He was behind the guy who was a fighter pilot, and he just kind of sat there. I guess maybe he was a kamikaze. I don't know. He got shot down. I don't know. And they're watching it like if they're watching a.
He is actually the one that did Pearl Harbor. He started World War II. He got America into World War II.
He almost killed Ben Affleck. That's what it was.
He caused the nuclear attacks on Hiroshima.
But apparently she's telling him the story about the aunt and the doomed fiance, but they're watching it like if it's a 1920s silent film or 1930s silent film, right? It's 40, whatever. And it's like really weird because they're like, oh wow, he's cute, and you're like, how the fuck are they watching this? So it's very much like watching a film that is a stage play, right? I don't know, because stuff is happening where they see it, they don't. They have over dramatic like. Visual
the
cues.
Cat jumps on a piano chair and then reverses back like 4 or 5 times.
There's a guy, Mr. Togo, who's a teacher that several of the girls have a crush on, and I thought he was going to come back as the reincarnation of the aunt's deceased fiance, but he doesn't. There's a part where he falls on a flight of stairs and his ass falls in a bucket, and then it turns into really bad stop motion animation of him flying around in the bucket. It's very weird.
Yeah,
like, what the fuck
car
is
almost
that?
hits him and stuff.
Yeah, it's very strange. But anyway, he's there. I don't even know. My favorite character is Kung Fu, because she's a character that literally whenever she's like the top one, I think, to me, that whenever something
I like her a lot too, actually.
Whenever something happens, she just like fights it off with a karate kick or does some kind of karate move on it, like Kung Fu, excuse me. and she like literally whenever she gets into action, her sequences are shot almost like the old school Hong Kong karate films. Like there's really weird whip pans and the sound effects and everything. It's very cool. And even when she unfortunately, I thought she was gonna make it towards the end. She sacrifices herself, and only the lower bottom half of her waist comes out and karate kicks the painting.
I'm still stuck on the idea that they thought this could be as big as Jaws.
I don't know. I think there was a lot of drugs being done in this movie or something. And you said that the director was sitting around with the little girls, doing drugs with them or something.
Well, he was running around and quizzing them and stuff.
You think he was just fucking around?
He's like, so what kind of panties do you wear?
No.
A, red lacy panties.
Oh,
B.
But there's like a fat guy selling watermelons right next to the mansion where the aunt lives, and there's like the way that the fat guy
knows what the deal is too, and he sends them there anyway.
The way that the fat guy disappears at the end of the movie, he gets confronted by Mr. Togo, not even a bad way, and he just turns into a pile of skeleton bones. Like it doesn't explain why. He just
and then what's with the bananas too?
Yeah, the
guy.
Like,
there's so many bananas, and then he just like
he turns into a pile of bananas at the end.
Bananas?
No, I think he turned into a pile of bananas because the hat was on top of the bananas.
Oh, okay. I didn't even catch that part.
What did you think was the weirdest part of the film?
I mean, jeez, it's really hard to say, but I'd say the bananas was pretty weird.
Apparently, in the Wikipedia, what they say is that the aunt turns into. They have this phrase where a cat can open the door, but only a witch can close it. I don't know how, whatever, because that does happen. The cat opens doors, and the aunt has this shocked white hair. She closes it.
The second she came to answer the door when they got there, she looked so scary. I would have run.
Yeah, it was a good wig though. I know the main thing that I remember from this one. The first thing I ever saw from this was like it kind of got a revival. This movie like around 2010, like they released it on DVD, and they also had it in a short run in some movie theaters in New York City. Is a girl playing piano melody. Obviously, she goes and she plays the piano, and she gets eaten by this piano, and it's like some of the worst green screen effects ever.
Oh, there's a lot of bad effects in this movie.
I wonder why they couldn't get the green screen effects really good, because they were wearing material where you can still
I think he wanted them to look crappy. Like, I read that too.
Yeah?
Yeah. But, I mean, there's a scene, that scene, she's playing the piano, her fingers get bit off, she's kind of upset about it, but she's not that upset. Then it bites the rest of her hand off, and then she's upset.
Right. There's a character who's almost like suffocated by mattresses. That's another idea that the little kid thought of. And then we see her later inside of a clock face, filled up with green blood and shit.
I didn't understand that was her. I was so confused.
There's a girl who let's see what else happens. Oh my god!
I like when she's fighting the telephone.
Yeah, that's how I was scared for Kung Fu. I was like, Kung Fu make it, because for the second, I think the director knew which actress had the nicest butt, so they had Kung Fu walking around in like her.
We do get to see
shorts.
one tit.
No, you see a couple of. This was Japan back then when girls, because apparently this is what I hear now. Apparently they use stem cells to give Japanese chicks really huge knockers in Japan now. Like, you know how we're all worried about people not.
Serious?
I'm not kidding. Apparently that's how they do.
What happened to these people?
They don't care about making people walk. They use it to make big tits in Japan.
I don't think that could be true.
I don't know. Keep talking about the weirdest scene.
What about the bagel heads? Remember the bagel heads?
That was bullshit, though. I heard that was bullshit. But
no, I saw pictures of it.
No, I know, but I think that was one thing that was taken out of context. That not everybody was doing that. It was just like those three people that did it in the photos.
Yeah, not everyone was doing it, but still, I mean, even one person in the world to do that is sick.
Okay,
they were putting fucking like bagel injections in their head. It looked like they had bagels under their foreheads.
Apparently, they don't use. It doesn't look like they use. What are those things called? What are those bags called? Silicone bags or whatever. Oh no, I think they have something else. Whatever when they use girls' breasts. But apparently, they have some kind of injections that they do towards women's breasts that induce fat. So now you see Japanese girls with huge cans, and you're like, where the fuck did this happen? Because, you know,
you injected into their butts. They could use that.
I think they do, too, actually. They do have some big...
my God. I don't like any kind of plastic surgery stuff. Like,
but it's more natural than actually having, like, big fucking bags of silicone inside of it, I think.
I just don't take the body that God gave you.
It just makes me laugh that it says in Japanese study, stem cell injection shown to provide simple route to breast augmentations, so they don't have to feel like they have a bag or feel like it feels natural. But that makes me think about, remember that commercial that happened? I think it was I don't know if it was the Super Bowl, but they digitized Christopher Reeve walking out of his chair to make you believe.
You're thinking of the South Park episode.
No. I'm talking about a real commercial that had Christopher Reeve walking around in it. This was like, in the pinnacle, not the pinnacle, that's a bad word to say with him. But Christopher Reeve was the original Superman, Superman in the 70s films, and he got paralyzed because he fell off a horse. And, he became a real big proponent
of on Christopher Reeve.
He became, I was going to say that, but then I felt I was better than that. He apparently he became a big proponent of stem cell research or whatever research to get people walking again who had those spinal injuries. And there was a commercial that was, I don't know if it was a Super Bowl or some kind of big event where he was walking around. They basically.
You know what they did? They weakened that Bernie.
Listen, Danny, stupid. They were fish hooks, right? But Danny, they digitized his head onto an actor's body like he's walking, and apparently people at home watching this commercial in wheelchairs actually tried to stand up out of their wheelchairs and kept falling down. So there was a lot of injuries because of that.
Oh, God.
So it makes me feel funny that Japan is like, fuck walking. I want to be a tits. They're just like there doing that stuff. That's pretty funny. So yeah, that's our big thing about house and tits. So yeah, Kung Fu's the hottest chick in the fucking movie. She's cute and sexy and she has a nice butt. I can say that all the time.
I liked Mac a lot too. They kept making fun of her being fat. She's not fat.
Yeah, she was the first one to go. She became a fucking floating head, and then her head turned into
but that floating head, my God, the neck on that thing, that was great.
Her head turned into a water. Then her head turned into a watermelon. Every girl in here dies. I can say a unique death in this movie. The
girl, the ant with the eyeball in her mouth, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, because she ate the watermelon that was Mac's head. So she's like looking around. It's a really fucking weird movie. I mean,
the part that's the weirdest is these girls are so okay with all of this.
Yeah, there's a lot of underreaction. They don't really react to any of this weird shit until the 57
minute mark. But according to the director, they were poor actors, and it's no wonder because it was the crew's families and shit.
Was it?
Yeah,
and the crew's family were fine with their kids being naked and shit like that in this movie.
Who knows how young they were? They might have been old.
Yeah, they probably were old. But then again, we could talk a whole thing about Japan and how they take photos of girls in fucking bikinis when they're 10 years old because they're real fucking.
They should have had a Gundam in the house.
Just fly out at the end. Stupid assholes. Anyway, so yeah, so I think I'm gonna be picking Asian movies just for a while you pick the regular. I mean other horror movies, just so I can bother you. But anyway, every other film is probably gonna be Asian for a while. But this film, it's not the greatest film, but it's a great film to watch for the sheer weirdness of it.
This is an experiment.
It is. This is a film I think will work a lot better if you see it at a theater with people.
I wish they'd make a film like this, but with like better effects.
Special effects.
Yeah.
The weird effects here kind of help with
effects, it though. Just better.
Right. I know, but I think it works for the time. I mean, that that it's...
I know. I mean, it was really cool for the time. But
I can't imagine the director just looking at this and not thinking it's going to be funny. But then again, Japanese have a different...
And you know what's funny? The best part is that the end, the whole meaning of it is love.
Yeah, that big speech at the end. I mean, there's a whole thing with these dancing skeletons and shit.
All of their movies have to do with love.
What was that dancing? They kept having this dancing skeleton in the background,
and it was a terrible skeleton.
It was a really bad puppet. I'm like, didn't Japan come up with like the Godzilla? Can't they come up with a fucking good dancing skeleton in this movie?
Really?
I don't know. It's what I read on the Wikipedia also is that the idea is that this woman she died, but her body didn't die. That's the idea, that she's this kind of evil witch / ghost. Although she doesn't really do witch stuff, but I guess the house is haunted. And she's been consuming every unmarried girl that comes up to the mansion because she never got to her man back. So I guess she's just consuming every woman there. And apparently towards the end, the aunt merges with Gorgeous into one person.
You know what? I just read the actress. I don't know who plays who, but one of the actresses was nervous to do her nude scenes, so to make her more comfortable, another actress took off her clothes.
Wow.
And then the director kept that in there.
Oh, really? That's what happened with what was this? There's this Lindsay Lohan movie coming out, and the director's like this old 80-year-old guy, and she got all nervous about being naked, so he walked out and started directing everybody naked. Can you imagine that? She probably just wanted some blow.
He probably had a huge boner, and he's not using the clapper thing. He's using his penis and just slapping it against the brick.
Jesus Christ, he has the fucking a tripod up his ass. But there's this whole big. It is like they try to tack on the idea of love and romance, and this woman is a tortured character, although it's kind of stupid. This is what they say: even after the flesh perishes, one can live in the hearts of others, together with the feelings one has for them. Reading this shit is
basically the whole thing is. The reason the ghost existed is because of the promise of love and her love for
Therefore, the story of love must be told many times, Danny.
Right.
Because so that the spirits of lovers may live forever. Forever. So they try to tack on this whole idea of love and romance on this weirdo movie. It's a weirdo movie, but I liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked it. Because
it's not a movie I don't think I would ever watch again, but I would tell someone to watch it.
It has more in common with Evil Dead Trap 2, but not as good.
Yeah, Evil Dead Trap 2 is the shit. I love that.
I want to see that. We got to see that movie again, dude.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I don't know if I liked it when I first watched it. I don't remember how I reviewed it.
But the more you think about it,
I think about it a lot.
It's a very that movie's very existential in a way. It feels very fucking strange. I realize we also never.
The third one is terrible, and the first one's kind of stupid.
Yeah, I rank it 2, 1, and 3, so I see what you mean. But yeah, this is a weird movie that I think if you watch it with a couple of friends and want to laugh at, like, this is the high point of Japanese absurdism. There's also like the Tokyo Gore Police and the new kind of Japanese absurd stuff, but that
makes sense. This
right,
is like,
that's more comprehensive than this.
This is like an editing experiment.
Right,
like there are scenes where they're just walking around, all of a sudden it will do a super close up of someone's face while still showing the background of them walking. And
this
stuff.
is like if Argento really went fucking nuts with art style and being experimental artistic wise.
Mm-hmm.
And it's worth watching that just for seeing some kind of strange shit on cinema. So I recommend it a lot. Like myself, I would give this movie a 7 out of 10 to watch because it's good.
7 out of 10 what?
What's 7 out of 10. Oh, there's so much shit in this movie. 7 out of 10. Looking at your reflection into the mirror and then turning into a crappy animation of fire.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. I liked it actually. I'm gonna give it a 6.
It was a cool fire.
6.36 out of 10. But it is interesting.
It is. That's why I bumped it up to a 7 myself.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a.
Okay.
I'll give it 7.36 out of 10. Doing kung fu against a telephone, which will then explode.
Poor Kung Fu. Oh, she was so cute. Also, 2 things. Every time something scary was going to happen, it almost felt like this was a nod to the audience to be prepared to see something weird happen. A green flash of lights will come out of like either the cat's eyes or some object. It was almost like, you ever played Dungeon's Lair? Or Dragon's Lair? It used to be this old arcade game where it gave you these screen prompts. Like it was basically a Don Bluth animated arcade game where you're playing a cartoon. And you had to hit the stick on screen certain times to make the character jump left or right or hit a button, and it's prompted you every time. And I'm watching this movie, it's like fucking prompting the people watching this film to know something creepy is gonna happen.
There's definitely nothing scary in this entire movie.
Not at all. It's very weird.
It's like a cartoon.
It's a cartoon horror film, like very weird. And then just alone for the last 10 minutes, this movie has as many endings as Lord of the Rings. The final sequence where the future stepmother walks in and she's walking around and it's almost beautiful like a commercial.
You know what sucks? If she had gotten married, she never would have gotten killed.
Yeah, there you go.
And also what they're saying
is she did have a ring on her hand at the end, so maybe
when you die, you become evil, is what it's saying.
Well, maybe because of that house.
And the reason that those girls became ghosts is because they were waiting for the teacher, Mr. Togo.
Uh-huh.
So if he didn't turn into a batch of bananas and had actually gone there.
I don't know what happened. I really don't know, because why would
They turned into bananas.
Why would those 6 other girls turn into ghosts if the aunt? She's been eating all
Because
the
they were
women
waiting for Mr. Togo.
Oh, so now they're kind of in the same boat that the aunt was, even though the aunt now took over the Oh no, the aunt died because she got that painting and the cat got destroyed. I almost thought.
Yeah, but then the cat was back.
Right, I thought the cat was a good guy in the movie.
No, the cat was like
Right, I guess he was bad. Yeah,
She
yeah.
had to drop her camera.
I
remember?
thought towards the end, right?
Anyone that makes you drop a camera is bad.
Not only did the cat make the camera drop, the fucking camera floated out of her hands and fell on the floor. And the girl was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "All right, I'd be out of the fucking house right there."
Right.
But anyway, so I enjoyed it. I think it's a good experiment to watch. It's not that great of a movie, but it's a funny film to watch and just see the absurdity of Japanese cinema from the 70s. In reaction towards Jaws.
Yeah, because this is just like Jaws.
It's a great love tale. So, Denny, what's the final word?
Japan.
The horror deconstruction.